Welcome, friend. Tonight, we're going on a gentle journey through our solar system. 100 peaceful facts about the planets, moons, and wonders that drift through space around us. Get comfortable, close your eyes if you wish, and let's begin. Fact 1. The sun's gentle light. Our sun is a star, just like the countless others you see twinkling in the night sky. It's been shining steadily for about 4.5 billion years. That's a number so large it's almost impossible to imagine. 4,500 million years of light, warming our little corner of space. Fact 2. The heart of everything. The sun contains 99.8% of all the mass in our entire solar system. Everything else, all the planets, all the moons, all the asteroids, all the comets, all the dust, makes up just that tiny remaining fraction. The sun holds us all in its gravitational embrace, like a parent holding their children close. Fact 3. A million Earths. The sun is so vast that you could fit about 1 million Earths inside it. Imagine that for a moment. A million of our entire world, tucked inside that glowing ball of light. And yet, compared to other stars in the universe, our sun is quite average, quite ordinary. Just a medium-sized star, doing what stars do. Fact 4. Light takes time. When sunlight leaves the sun, it takes about 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach Earth. So when you feel the warmth of sunshine on your face, you're feeling light that began its journey 8 minutes ago. The present and the past, touching you at the same moment. Fact 5. The sun's perfect distance. Earth orbits the sun at just the right distance, not too close, not too far. Scientists call this the habitable zone, or sometimes the Goldilocks zone. It's the reason water can exist as a liquid on our planet. Just right, like a comfortable blanket on a cool night. Fact 6. Mercury, the swift messenger. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, racing around it faster than any other planet. It completes one orbit in just 88 Earth days. The ancient Romans named it after their messenger god because of how quickly it seemed to move across the sky. Fact 7. Mercury's long days. Here's something curious about Mercury. One day on Mercury, from sunrise to sunrise, actually lasts 176 Earth days. That's longer than Mercury's entire year. Time moves differently there, stretched and strange. Fact 8. Extremes of temperature on Mercury. The temperature can swing wildly. During the day, the surface can reach 800 degrees Fahrenheit. At night, it can plummet to minus 290 degrees. From scorching heat to freezing cold, with no atmosphere to moderate these extremes. Fact 9. A pockmarked surface. Mercury's surface is covered with craters, thousands upon thousands of them, created by asteroid and comet impacts over billions of years. Each crater tells a story of a collision from long ago. The planet keeps these scars, a memory written in stone. Fact 10. Mercury's core. Despite being the smallest planet in our solar system, Mercury has a very large iron core. This core takes up about 75% of the planet's radius. It's as if Mercury is mostly core, with just a thin shell of rock around it. Fact 11. Venus, the morning star. Venus is the second planet from the sun, and it's often the brightest object in our night sky after the moon. Ancient peoples called it the morning star or evening star, not knowing it was actually a planet. It shines so beautifully, so steadily. Fact 12. Earth's twin. Venus is sometimes called Earth's sister planet because they're similar in size. Venus is just slightly smaller than Earth. But beyond size, the two worlds are very different. Venus took a different path, became a different place entirely. Fact 13. The hottest planet. Venus is actually hotter than Mercury, even though it's farther from the sun. The surface temperature on Venus stays around 900 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot enough to melt lead. This happens because Venus has a thick atmosphere that traps heat, like a blanket that's far too heavy. Fact 14. Thick clouds. Venus is covered in thick clouds made of sulfuric acid. These clouds reflect sunlight brilliantly, which is why Venus shines so brightly in our sky. But beneath those clouds is a harsh world, hidden from view. Fact 15. Backwards rotation: Venus rotates backwards compared to most other planets. While Earth and most planets spin counterclockwise when viewed from above the North Pole, Venus spins clockwise. It's doing its own thing, dancing to its own rhythm. Fact 16. A very slow day. A day on Venus lasts 243 Earth days. But Venus only takes 225 Earth days to orbit the Sun. So a single day on Venus is actually longer than its year. Time, again, being strange and different. Fact 17. Crushing pressure: the atmospheric pressure on Venus is about 90 times greater than on Earth. That's like being 3,000 feet underwater in Earth's oceans. The air itself would crush most spacecraft that tried to land there. Fact 18. Our home, Earth is the third planet from the Sun, and as far as we know, it's the only place in the universe where life exists. We orbit at just the right distance, we have just the right atmosphere, just the right amount of water. Everything aligned perfectly for us. Fact 19. The blue planet from space, Earth appears as a beautiful blue marble, with swirls of white clouds. The blue comes from our oceans, which cover about 71% of the planet's surface. We're a water world, really. Most of our home is ocean. Fact 20. One moon: Earth has one natural satellite, our moon. It's the fifth largest moon in the solar system. Every night, it rises and sets, pulling at our oceans, creating the tides. It's been our companion for billions of years. Fact 21. The moon's origin: scientists believe the moon formed about 4.5 billion years ago, when a Mars-sized object collided with the young Earth. The debris from this enormous impact came together to form the moon. Born from violence, but bringing us peace and light in the darkness. Fact 22. The moon is drifting away each year. The moon moves about 1.5 inches farther from Earth. It's a slow drift, barely noticeable, but over millions of years, it adds up. Eventually, in the far future, the moon will appear smaller in our sky. But that won't happen for a very, very long time. Fact 23. Earth's protective shield: Earth has a magnetic field that protects us from harmful solar radiation. This magnetic field is generated by the movement of molten iron in Earth's core. It's like an invisible shield, wrapping around our planet, keeping us safe. Fact 24. Seasons and tilt: Earth experiences seasons because our planet is tilted on its axis by about 23.5 degrees. As we orbit the Sun, different parts of Earth receive more direct sunlight at different times of year. This tilt gives us spring, summer, autumn, and winter, the cycle of the year. Fact 25. Mars, the red planet: Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun, and it's often called the red planet because of its reddish appearance. This color comes from iron oxide, rust, covering much of the planet's surface. It's a world of rust and dust, ancient and quiet. Fact 26. Similar to Earth, Mars is the most Earth-like planet in our solar system. It has seasons, polar ice caps, canyons, and volcanoes. A day on Mars lasts about 24.5 hours, very similar to Earth's day. In some ways, it feels almost familiar. Fact 27. Olympus Mons: Mars is home to Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the entire solar system. It's about 13.5 miles high, nearly 3 times the height of Mount Everest. It's so large that if you stood at its base, you couldn't see the summit because it would be beyond the horizon. Fact 28. Valles Marineris: Mars also has the largest canyon in the solar system, called Valles Marineris. It stretches over 2,500 miles long, up to 430 miles wide, and reaches depths of 4 miles. It makes Earth's Grand Canyon look small by comparison. Fact 29. 2 small moons: Mars has 2 tiny moons named Phobos and Deimos, which mean fear and panic in Greek. These names come from the sons of Ares, the Greek god of war. Both moons are irregularly shaped and quite small, probably captured asteroids that Mars pulled into orbit long ago. Fact 30. Water on Mars: scientists have found strong evidence that water once flowed on Mars. Ancient river valleys and dried lake beds mark the surface. where there was water, there might have been life. We're still looking, still wondering what Mars might tell us about life in the universe. Fact 31. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter lies the asteroid belt, a region filled with millions of rocky objects. These asteroids are remnants from the early solar system, material that never came together to form a planet. They orbit the Sun like tiny worlds, scattered through space. Fact 32. Not as dense as movies suggest. Despite what science fiction movies might show, the asteroid belt isn't densely packed. The asteroids are spread out over an enormous volume of space. If you flew through the asteroid belt, you'd likely never see one with your naked eye. Space is mostly empty, even in the asteroid belt. Fact 33. Ceres, the dwarf planet. The largest object in the asteroid belt is Ceres, which is classified as a dwarf planet. It's about 600 miles in diameter and contains about a third of the asteroid belt's total mass. Ceres is round, like a tiny world, possibly harboring a subsurface ocean beneath its icy crust. Fact 34. Jupiter, the giant Jupiter, is the fifth planet from the Sun and by far the largest planet in our solar system. It's so massive that you could fit more than 1,300 Earths inside it. Jupiter is a giant among planets, a king of worlds. Fact 35. A gas giant. Jupiter doesn't have a solid surface like Earth. It's a gas giant, made mostly of hydrogen and helium. If you tried to land on Jupiter, you'd just sink deeper and deeper into layers of increasingly dense gas and liquid, eventually reaching a possible core of rock and ice at the center. Fact 36. The Great Red Spot. Jupiter's most famous feature is the Great Red Spot, a gigantic storm that's been raging for at least 300 years, possibly much longer. This storm is larger than Earth itself. Imagine a hurricane bigger than our entire planet, spinning and churning for centuries. Fact 37. Jupiter's stripes. The colorful bands we see on Jupiter are clouds moving at different speeds and in different directions. The light zones are areas where gas is rising, and the darker belts are where gas is sinking. The planet is in constant motion, always changing, always dynamic. Fact 38. A planetary shield. Jupiter's massive gravity acts as a shield for the inner solar system. It attracts comets and asteroids that might otherwise hit Earth. Jupiter has been hit many times, absorbing impacts that could have been catastrophic for us. In a way, Jupiter protects us. Fact 39. Many moons. Jupiter has at least 79 known moons, and scientists keep discovering more. The four largest, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, were discovered by Galileo in 1610. These four moons are called the Galilean moons, worlds in their own right. Fact 40. Europa's ocean. Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, is covered in ice but likely has a liquid ocean beneath its frozen surface. This ocean might be twice the volume of all of Earth's oceans combined. Where there's liquid water, there's the possibility of life. Europa might harbor life in its dark, deep ocean. Fact 41. Io's volcanoes. Io is the most volcanically active body in the solar system. It has over 400 active volcanoes, constantly erupting, reshaping the moon's surface. Jupiter's powerful gravity creates tidal forces that squeeze and stretch Io, generating the heat that drives this volcanic activity. Fact 42. Ganymede, the largest moon. Ganymede is the largest moon in the solar system, even bigger than the planet Mercury. It's the only moon known to have its own magnetic field. Ganymede orbits Jupiter, a moon larger than a planet, a reminder of how diverse and wonderful our solar system is. Fact 43. Saturn, the ring beauty. Saturn is the sixth planet from the Sun and the second largest in our solar system. It's famous for its spectacular ring system, the most extensive and visible rings of any planet. Saturn is a jewel of the solar system, elegant and serene. Fact 44. Another gas giant like Jupiter, Saturn is a gas giant composed mainly of hydrogen and helium. It's less dense than water. In fact, Saturn is the least dense planet in our solar system. If you could find an ocean big enough, Saturn would float. Fact 45. The magnificent rings. Saturn's rings are made of billions of particles of ice and rock, ranging in size from tiny grains to giant boulders. These particles orbit Saturn in thin, flat sheets. The rings are incredibly wide, about 175,000 miles across, but remarkably thin, sometimes only about 30 feet thick. Fact 46. How old are the rings? Scientists once thought Saturn's rings were as old as the planet itself. But recent research suggests they might be much younger, perhaps only a few 100 million years old. The rings might have formed when a moon or comet got too close to Saturn and was torn apart by the planet's gravity. Fact 47. Saturn's many moons. Saturn has at least 82 known moons. Like Jupiter, it has its own family of worlds orbiting around it. Each moon is unique, each with its own story, its own characteristics, its own mysteries. Fact 48. Titan, the misty moon. Titan is Saturn's largest moon and the second largest moon in the solar system. It's the only moon with a thick atmosphere, even denser than Earth's. Titan's atmosphere is so thick and hazy that we can't see the surface from space. It's a world wrapped in mystery, in fog and mist. Fact 49. Lakes on Titan. Titan is the only place besides Earth where we've found stable bodies of liquid on the surface. But these aren't lakes of water, they're lakes of liquid methane and ethane. Rain falls from Titan's sky, fills rivers, and pools in lakes, just like on Earth, but with different substances. Fact 50. Enceladus and its geysers. Enceladus, another of Saturn's moons, shoots jets of water ice into space from cracks in its south polar region. These geysers suggest that Enceladus has a subsurface ocean. The tiny moon is active, alive in its own way, sending plumes of water into the darkness. Fact 51. Uranus, the tilted planet. Uranus is the seventh planet from the Sun and the third largest. It's an ice giant, different from the gas giants Jupiter and Saturn. Uranus appears as a pale blue-green color because of methane in its atmosphere, which absorbs red light. Fact 52. Lying on its side. Uranus is tilted on its side by 98 degrees. While most planets spin like tops, Uranus rolls along its orbit like a ball. Each pole gets around 42 years of continuous sunlight, followed by 42 years of darkness. The seasons on Uranus are extreme and strange. Fact 53. A long year. Uranus takes 84 Earth years to orbit the Sun. So if you were born on Uranus, you'd be less than 1 year old even if you lived to be 84 Earth years old. Time stretches out differently the farther you get from the Sun. Fact 54. Discovered by accident. Uranus was the first planet discovered with a telescope. William Herschel found it in 1781 while surveying the sky. At first, he thought it was a comet. But as he observed it over time, he realized it was something much more significant, a new planet. Fact 55. Faint rings. Uranus also has rings, though they're much fainter than Saturn's. They weren't discovered until 1977. These dark rings are made of ice particles and rocky debris, orbiting silently around the tilted planet. Fact 56. 27 moons. Uranus has 27 known moons, named after characters from the works of William Shakespeare and Alexander Pope. Names like Ariel, Umbriel, Titania, Oberon, and Miranda, literary references floating through space. Fact 57. Neptune, the distant blue giant. Neptune is the eighth and farthest planet from the Sun in our solar system. It's another ice giant, appearing as a rich, deep blue because of methane in its atmosphere. Neptune is distant and cold, yet beautiful. Fact 58. Discovered through mathematics. Neptune is the only planet that was discovered through mathematical predictions rather than observation. When astronomers noticed that Uranus wasn't moving quite as predicted, they calculated that another planet's gravity must be affecting it. They pointed their telescopes to where the math said a planet should be, and there was Neptune. Fact 59. The windiest planet. Neptune has the strongest winds in the solar system. Wind speeds can reach up to 1,200 miles per hour. Imagine storms raging at such incredible speeds, on a world so far from the Sun that receives very little solar energy. Fact 60. The Great Dark Spot. When Voyager 2 flew by Neptune in 1989, it discovered a massive storm called the Great Dark Spot, similar to Jupiter's Great Red Spot but darker. By the time the Hubble Space Telescope looked at Neptune a few years later, this spot had disappeared. Neptune's atmosphere changes, evolves, shifts. Fact 61. Triton, the odd moon. Neptune's largest moon, Triton, is unusual because it orbits Neptune backward, in the opposite direction of Neptune's rotation. This suggests Triton wasn't born around Neptune but was captured by Neptune's gravity from somewhere else in the solar system. Triton is a visitor, now bound to Neptune forever. Fact 62. Geysers on Triton. Triton has nitrogen geysers that shoot material 5 miles into the atmosphere. This makes Triton one of the few geologically active moons we know of. Even in the cold, dark outer solar system, worlds can be active and dynamic. Fact 63. The coldest world, Triton, is one of the coldest objects in the solar system, with surface temperatures around -391 degrees Fahrenheit. That's only about 70 degrees above absolute zero, the lowest temperature possible. It's almost as cold as anything can possibly be. Fact 64. Pluto, the distant dwarf Pluto, was considered the 9th planet for 76 years, from its discovery in 1930 until 2006, when it was reclassified as a dwarf planet. But many people still have a special fondness for Pluto, this small, distant world at the edge of the solar system. Fact 65. A complicated orbit. Pluto's orbit is unusual. It's elongated and tilted compared to the other planets. For part of its orbit, Pluto is actually closer to the Sun than Neptune. But the orbits are arranged so that Neptune and Pluto never collide. They're in a stable pattern, a cosmic dance. Fact 66. The heart of Pluto. When NASA's New Horizons spacecraft flew by Pluto in 2015, it revealed a large, heart-shaped region on Pluto's surface. This feature, called Tombo Regio, captured people's imaginations around the world. Pluto has a heart. Fact 67. Mountains of ice. Pluto has mountains made of water ice that rise up to 11,000 feet high. These mountains are as tall as the Rocky Mountains on Earth, but made of ice instead of rock. On Pluto, water ice is the bedrock, hard as stone in the frigid cold. Fact 68. 5 moons. Pluto has 5 known moons. The largest, Serene, is so big relative to Pluto that the two are sometimes considered a double planet. Pluto and Serene orbit each other, locked together, facing each other for eternity, never turning away. Fact 69. The Kuiper Belt. Beyond Neptune lies the Kuiper Belt, a region of space filled with icy bodies left over from the formation of the solar system. Pluto is one of the largest known objects in the Kuiper Belt, but there are thousands of others out there in the cold and dark. Fact 70. Short-period comets. Many comets that visit the inner solar system come from the Kuiper Belt. As they approach the Sun, they heat up and develop the characteristic bright tails we associate with comets. These are visitors from the outer reaches, bringing ice and ancient materials to the warmth of the Sun. Fact 71. The Oort cloud. Far beyond the Kuiper Belt, perhaps as far as halfway to the nearest star, lies the hypothetical Oort cloud. This is a vast, spherical shell of icy objects surrounding the entire solar system. We've never directly observed the Oort cloud, but scientists believe it's the source of long-period comets. Fact 72. The edge of the Sun's influence. The Oort cloud marks the outer edge of the Sun's gravitational influence. It's where the Sun's gravity is balanced by the gravity of nearby stars. Beyond the Oort cloud, you've left the solar system behind and entered interstellar space, the vast emptiness between the stars. Fact 73. Comets, the dirty snowballs. Comets are sometimes called dirty snowballs because they're made of ice, dust, and rocky material. When a comet approaches the Sun, the ice begins to vaporize, creating a glowing head called a coma and often 2 tails, one of dust and one of ionized gas. Fact 74. Halley's Comet. Halley's Comet is perhaps the most famous comet. It returns to the inner solar system approximately every 76 years. People have been recording sightings of Halley's Comet for over 2,000 years. It last appeared in 1986 and will return in 2061. Fact 75. Asteroids, the rocky remnants. Asteroids are rocky objects, most of which orbit the Sun in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. They're remnants from the early solar system, material that never coalesced into a planet. Each asteroid is a time capsule, preserving the conditions of the solar system's youth. Fact 76. Near-Earth asteroids. Some asteroids have orbits that bring them close to Earth. These are called near-Earth asteroids. Scientists carefully track them to determine if any might pose a threat to our planet. Most pass by harmlessly, but monitoring them helps keep us safe. Fact 77. Meteoroids, meteors, and meteorites. A meteoroid is a small rocky or metallic object in space. When it enters Earth's atmosphere and burns up, creating a streak of light, it's called a meteor or shooting star. If it survives the journey through the atmosphere and lands on Earth's surface, it's called a meteorite. 3 names for different stages of the same object's journey. Fact 78. Meteor showers. Several times a year, Earth passes through the debris left behind by comets. When this happens, we see meteor showers, many meteors appearing to radiate from one point in the sky. These are tiny particles, often no bigger than grains of sand, burning up in our atmosphere. They create beautiful displays, brief flashes of light across the night sky. Fact 79. The Sun's layers. The Sun has several layers. At its core, nuclear fusion converts hydrogen into helium, releasing enormous amounts of energy. This energy moves outward through the radiative zone and convective zone before reaching the photosphere, the visible surface we see from Earth. Fact 80. The solar corona above the photosphere is the Sun's atmosphere, which includes the chromosphere and the corona. The corona is the outermost layer, visible during solar eclipses as a halo of light around the Moon. Surprisingly, the corona is much hotter than the Sun's surface, millions of degrees instead of thousands. Scientists are still working to understand why. Fact 81. Solar wind. The Sun constantly emits a stream of charged particles called the solar wind. This wind blows through the entire solar system at speeds of about 1 million miles per hour. When the solar wind interacts with Earth's magnetic field, it can create beautiful auroras, the northern and southern lights. Fact 82. Solar flares. Sometimes, the Sun releases sudden bursts of energy called solar flares. These flares can be as powerful as millions of hydrogen bombs exploding at once. They send radiation and particles streaming into space. Large flares can interfere with communications and power systems on Earth. Fact 83. Sunspots. Sunspots are darker, cooler areas on the Sun's surface caused by magnetic activity. They appear dark because they're about 3,000 degrees cooler than the surrounding surface. The number of sunspots rises and falls in an 11-year cycle. When there are many sunspots, the Sun is more active. Fact 84. Solar eclipses. A solar eclipse occurs when the Moon passes between the Sun and Earth, casting a shadow on Earth's surface. Total solar eclipses, where the Moon completely covers the Sun, are rare and spectacular events. The fact that the Moon and Sun appear almost exactly the same size from Earth is a remarkable coincidence. Fact 85. Lunar eclipses. A lunar eclipse happens when Earth passes between the Sun and Moon, and Earth's shadow falls on the Moon. During a total lunar eclipse, the Moon can appear red or copper-colored. This happens because Earth's atmosphere bends and scatters sunlight, allowing red wavelengths to reach the Moon. It's sometimes called a blood moon. Fact 86. The formation of the solar system. Our solar system formed about 4.6 billion years ago from a giant cloud of gas and dust called the solar nebula. This cloud began to collapse, possibly triggered by the shock wave from a nearby supernova. As it collapsed, it spun faster and flattened into a disk. Fact 87. Birth of the Sun. Most of the material in the solar nebula fell to the center, where it became hot and dense enough to ignite nuclear fusion. The Sun was born. It contains over 99% of all the mass in the solar system, a testament to how much material gathered at the center. Fact 88. Planet formation. In the disk around the young Sun, dust particles collided and stuck together, gradually building up larger and larger objects. These grew into planetesimals, then protoplanets, and finally the planets we see today. It was a process of countless collisions, material coming together, building worlds. Fact 89. Rocky versus gaseous planets. The inner solar system is warmer, so only rocky materials could solidify there. This is why the inner planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, are small and rocky. The outer solar system is colder, allowing ice to form. The outer planets could grow much larger, becoming gas and ice giants. Fact 90. Late heavy bombardment. About 4 billion years ago, the inner solar system experienced a period called the Late Heavy Bombardment. Countless asteroids and comets smashed into the inner planets and moons, creating many of the craters we see today. It was a violent time, but it may have delivered water and organic molecules to Earth. Fact 91. The Goldilocks principle. Earth's position in the solar system is just right for life. Not too hot, not too cold. Not too much atmosphere, not too little. Not too much radiation, not too little protection. So many factors had to align perfectly. We're fortunate, living on this blue marble in the perfect spot. Fact 92. The Drake equation. The Drake equation is a formula created by astronomer Frank Drake in 1961. It estimates the number of civilizations in our galaxy with which we might be able to communicate. The equation considers factors like the rate of star formation, the fraction of stars with planets, and the fraction of planets where life might develop. Fact 93. Are we alone? Humans have always wondered if we're alone in the universe. With billions of stars in our galaxy alone, and billions of galaxies in the universe, the odds seem good that life exists elsewhere. But we haven't found proof yet. The search continues, patient and hopeful. Fact 94. Voyager spacecraft. In 1977, NASA launched 2 spacecraft, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, to explore the outer planets. After completing their planetary missions, both spacecraft continued onward. Voyager 1 is now the farthest human-made object from Earth, traveling through interstellar space, carrying a golden record with sounds and images of Earth. Fact 95. The speed of light limit. Light travels at about 186,000 miles per second. At this speed, light takes about 8 minutes to reach Earth from the Sun. To reach Pluto takes about 5.5 hours. The nearest star beyond our Sun is over 4 light-years away. Space is vast, distances almost incomprehensible. Fact 96. Future of the solar system. The Sun has been shining for about 4.6 billion years and has enough fuel to continue for another 5 billion years. Eventually, it will expand into a red giant, probably engulfing Mercury, Venus, and possibly Earth. Then it will shed its outer layers and become a white dwarf, slowly cooling over trillions of years. Fact 97. Earth's long-term future. Long before the Sun becomes a red giant, Earth will become uninhabitable. In about 1 billion years, the Sun will be bright enough. Life as we know it will no longer be possible here. But 1 billion years is a vast amount of time. Unimaginable stretches of time remain before then. Fact 98. Terraforming Mars. Some scientists and visionaries dream of terraforming Mars, transforming it into a world more like Earth, with a thicker atmosphere, warmer temperatures, and possibly liquid water on the surface. This would take centuries or millennia and massive technological effort. But it represents hope, the idea that humanity might one day live on more than one world. Fact 99. The overview effect. Astronauts who have seen Earth from space often describe something called the overview effect, a profound shift in perspective that comes from seeing our planet as a whole. From space, Earth has no borders, no divisions. It's one world, fragile and beautiful, floating in the darkness. Our shared home. Fact 100. We are made of star stuff. Here's a beautiful fact to end with. Every atom in your body except hydrogen was created inside a star. Carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, calcium, all forged in stellar cores through nuclear fusion. When those stars died, they scattered these elements into space. Eventually, They became part of the cloud that formed our solar system, our planet, and you. You are literally made of star stuff, the remnants of stars that died billions of years ago. You're part of the universe, connected to everything, to the stars and planets, to the vast cosmic story that's been unfolding for billions of years. Closing, and so our journey ends, 100 facts about our solar system, about our cosmic neighborhood. The sun, the planets, the moons, the asteroids and comets, all moving through space in their ancient dance. It's been a long journey, through billions of years and billions of miles. The solar system continues its eternal motion, indifferent to us, yet we're part of it. We live here, on this small blue world, looking up at the night sky, wondering, learning, dreaming. Rest now. Close your eyes. Let the vastness of space surround you like a blanket, dark and quiet. You've traveled far tonight, through the solar system, past planets and moons and rings. You've stood on Mercury's scorching surface and floated through Jupiter's clouds. You've seen the rings of Saturn and felt the winds of Neptune. Now it's time to rest. The planets will continue their orbits. The sun will continue to shine. The moon will rise and set. And you can sleep, peacefully, knowing you're part of this beautiful cosmic story, this magnificent solar system, this universe that's been your home all along. Sleep well, traveler. Sleep well.